This week on Let's Try This Again.
Who raised you?
My dad raised me.
How come you couldn't save your mom?
Like my closest female friends, they have great relationships with their mothers. That's not my reality. I'm never going to travel the world with my mom. My mom will probably
sit in that. Don't avoid. Sit in that.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Thank you for bringing me to this point in this moment. Thank you for every single person that is behind the camera. I thank you for Dr. Bryant, and I just pray that whatever is said in this episode will bring healing to not only me, to my audience, God. Let us speak in truth. Let us be vulnerable. Let us share our stories, and let her pull something out of me that has never been pulled out before, God. I ask that the Holy Spirit just speaks through me and my testimony and my story and just lead me and Dr. Bryant and continue to use LTTA as a platform for not only healing people through laughter, but motivating them, inspiring them to heal and walk in their truth and be the best versions of their self, God. I thank you for this platform. I thank you for everything you have done to get LTTA up until this point, God, and just continue to propel me forward into my purpose and use my voice and my gift for your glory. In Jesus' name we ask and thank you. Amen.
Amen. Yes.
All right. Wow, baby. Honey, okay, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. I done led us in prayer already, and I'm already about to cry. It's like we didn't even say nothing yet, but I am so excited for this episode. It's going to be vulnerable. It's going to be real. And it's going to be deep, y'all. I have had the privilege, the honor to sit with this beautiful lady to my right.
Thank you, beautiful.
Dr. Bryant. I want to introduce you to the world. If you don't know who she is just a phenomenal woman that I had the chance to meet recently. This is our first time meeting in person, but I got to do a session with her. And when I say baby, she had me weeping on that phone like a baby, just pulling back the layers, unmasking, digging deep. And I just wanted to bring her on my platform to hopefully dig a little deeper, and share my story as much as I can publicly with you guys, the LTTA family. So y'all already know. Because when I was praying, I was like, I'm about to cry. Why are you about to cry? I don't know. I'm just about to cry. So get your tissues, get ready, because this beautiful Black woman is phenomenal. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and let me know, and everybody know exactly what you do and the role you play in mental health. Yeah, we just gonna start talking because our session
was so deep.
I did one session with her. You were so amazing. It was just like I was weeping. I was like, "Thank you so much. You're so amazing, you beautiful Black queen." And she was like, "I am so proud of you." But the stuff we just talked about and the stuff she got me to think about and open up about, I'm like, "Yo, like." That's one of the reasons why I reached out to you. I saw you on a few other platforms, and I was like, this lady is just the way you make me think, people think about like what they're going through and how you articulate your questions. It's just like, I've never thought about that before, or I don't know that. And of course, that's what therapy is. But yeah, our session was amazing. So introduce yourself to the LTTA family.
Totally. First of all, B, thank you for having me on. Thank you for being bold enough and trusting of me and yourself, and obviously God enough to use your platform to provide information to people who share the same story as yourself, as all the rest of your guests, who can watch this episode and not just get laughter, because you're funny as hell, but also get healing from them saying, that's me.
Yes.
That's my story. I do that now.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
How do I maintain that?
Yeah.
I got a sense of self from watching this. Damn. Those aha damn moments. And so thank you. I honor you for having this platform and allowing your platform to be used to change lives, to bless people, to bring them from the darkness to the light, and really help people get a gist of who am I, what do I want, where am I going, and how much of this do I self-identify with? Because it's important for people to know they're not alone in their pain. Nobody wants to be a villain. No one wants to be an island. And we all want to know at the end of everything that we're going to be okay. And someone gives enough
about me
to know that I got you.
Yeah.
And you got this.
And I can make it through this.
I can make it through this, and we can process through. And so, in a nutshell, I'm Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I am a psychology expert, been doing it for 16 years. Started off as a marriage, family, and child therapist, transitioned into a doctor, into private practice. You've seen me probably on MTV's hit show, Teen Mom Family Reunion. I'm the on-camera life coach. I co-produced and developed that show. Also on different platforms such as Nick Cannon.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's where I saw you. I saw that clip. I said, Jesus, she is reading him.
Nick, but I had to get him
And he took
together.
accountability. He was like, yes, ma'am. He did so good. He took so much accountability.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I want to just have a conversation with you. And we did it off camera. And I was like, I have to get her on the pod. Like, we just got to talk.
You did so good in session. I want to start with you just telling us a little bit about that little girl you spoke to me about.
Yeah.
Who was just trying to figure it out.
Yep.
Just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Who blocked out a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because the pain and trauma were just too intense. And just take me to the people pleasing that little girl does still in this grown adult woman today. And I want you to tell me how it served you and how it just did not serve you.
Lord. Okay, so as we talked about yesterday, like my parents got a divorce at a really young age, like a really, really young age. And my dad got remarried. And in that situation, it wasn't the best. You know, it was a lot of tension with his wife. And I feel like trickling over into me being 34, I'm just now realizing that came from childhood.
Right.
Like literally in the past year, which is like, I'm just now realizing that at 34, which is nuts. But walking on eggshells, wanting everybody to be comfortable at the expense of my comfortability, making sure that everything else is okay, and brushing stuff under the rug, not setting boundaries, like being in an uncomfortable situation and having to try to fix it, opposed to just like sitting in that feeling. Like I hate that feeling so much that I'm like, how do I fix this? How do I get us back to a high? How do I get us back to being happy? How do I bring it from a 0 to a 10? And I think, you know what, and I didn't say this in our session, that's probably why like comedy was like a vessel for me, because I'm like, if people are laughing and they're happy, I'm not uncomfortable, or I'm not the villain, or if I make people laugh, they like me.
Yeah.
So I think
and comedy also plays a role in people pleasing.
And people.
I'm pleasing the people who find me funny.
Wow.
And so you've created an entire world around how do I dissipate and regulate people's emotions to get them to a place of comfort so that my anxiety, when I'm not pleasing them, can be dissipated as well. As I regulate them, I can dissipate my anxiety.
Jesus.
Instead of saying, let them be accountable and responsible for regulating their own emotions. Because we talked about this in session, you can't do the work for nobody.
I can't do the saving.
So as you're people pleasing, which is an illusion, you're enabling, because you'll never be able to please someone past the level that they can please themselves.
Jesus.
So you're just in a vicious cycle of saying, okay, let me try to please here. The bar seems to keep raising. Let me please again. Not good enough.
It's literally like this.
It's just a cycle.
It never works. And you get back to that point. Yeah.
But that cycle allows you to stay in the self-inflicting pain cycle of every time I see that I failed with pleasing this person, then I failed at my savior role that I continuously play. Talk about the savior role, because pleasing somebody is also you attempting to save them from whatever you believe they need to be pleased from. And let me go here. And it's something you don't know you're doing. We don't know we do it. But there's a lot of, on the flip side, arrogance in us believing that we are thinking that these people don't have it in them to save themselves.
Okay.
You need
that we have to do it.
We have to do
it.
We have to do it, right? But that also plays a role in somewhere as a little girl, you were trying to save somebody. Not just b.simone, but mom or dad. Who were you trying to save? Because we learn the roles that we enter into as adults. So you said that dad and mom divorced.
They divorced.
Dad remarried.
Yeah.
Who were you staying with? Who raised you?
My dad raised me because my mom physically and mentally went through something, and physically and mentally she couldn't take on me and my sister.
Yeah. So in that space, why you couldn't say, how come you couldn't save your mom? How come you couldn't save her?
I don't even know the answer to that.
Were you just not good enough to save her? Was your plan of action not planned out good enough? You couldn't execute it? So I'm asking, why? How come you couldn't save her?
I don't know.
Have you saved her yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah. How come? Why?
I don't know the answer.
Okay. And so what does saving feel and look like on you towards mom?
I think it's like, and we talked about this yesterday, I think it's an idea I have of what a mom should look like.
What's that idea?
Like, I see a lot of my friendships with my friends, like my closest female friends, they have great relationships with their mothers. Mm-hmm. And I know that will never look like, that's not my reality. I'm never going to go get a mimosa with my mom. I'm never going to travel the world with my mom. My mom will probably like,
sit in that. Don't avoid. Sit in that. Stay there. Because that's the reality that has you deflect and avoid through comedy, that has you deflect and avoid through people pleasing, that has you deflect and avoid through being a savior to everyone else. Because what you can't do or haven't been able to do with your mom, you've been trying to overcompensate and do it in other areas.
With everybody else.
Including yourself. So you won't be able to travel the world with her. And what are these other ideologies that you know?
Wow. The life that I've built, like her enjoying it with me, her being healthy, her being mentally healthy, us having a like a deeper relationship, like my mom being my best friend. Like, I think the idea that I have of what a mom should look like, it's not my reality of who my mom is. So I'm like in love with the idea that I'm trying to make happen.
And every time you see her, you're what?
Disappointed or mad or upset or trying to make that real.
So you keep breaking your own heart over and over again.
Jesus. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So this idea you have continues to disappoint you, not your mom. I want to be clear on that. Right? So when we realize our fairy tale ideology keeps breaking me, not this person, then it shifts us from mad, angry, upset to compassion. To understanding. To now we can have an intimate relationship. It breaks down the barriers that keep you from everything you really want anyways.
Like the reality opposed to the illusion.
Yeah. So you just been serving yourself chicken every day saying it's a T-bone steak.
Jesus.
And every time you bite into it, you gaslight the chef. And you're like, this ain't T-bone steak. The chef said, but you keep buying chicken.
Lord.
And I served you it, but you've told yourself I'm eating a T-bone steak.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's not.
Yeah.
But you keep buying chicken.
Yeah.
You keep buying your ideology.
So how do you change? What is like a step to, how do I change that?
Tell your real story. Tell your real narrative. Take yourself out of emotional bondage. out of a fairy tale compartmentalized world, because you're compartmentalizing, which is normal. Because as a little girl, when you undergo so much trauma and so much pain, the only way you can survive that is to compartmentalize.
Got it.
You got to create a fairy tale.
Lord.
Because my world is crushing me.
Okay.
I'm 5, I'm 6, I'm 7. I have no insight. How do I navigate this?
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
So I create a world that makes me feel safe here.
Okay.
And then I grow up to be a woman, and I take this world here with me, and I negate the reality of what's going on. And so every time someone does something that's against my idea of this fairy tale, I'm disappointed again. I'm brokenhearted again.
That's ridiculous.
And no matter how successful you become, no matter how amazing you become, you ain't good enough.
And I think
and everything around you isn't, because it doesn't fit that box.
I was talking to my sister about this recently. I mentioned this to you in our session, but like, I get so triggered when I go back home. Like, I'm like, why am I'm so happy with my friends. I'm happy here in this world I've created. And then I go back home, like, my aunt's like, you need to see your mom more. And I'm like, we're working on it. Like, but I just feel.
You don't feel happy in your reality.
Yes. Of
You're
what
happy.
I'm expecting. And yes.
You're happy in a false narrative that you can't bring home to your reality.
Yes.
And so when you're there,
I'm allowing it to trigger me and allowing it to upset me.
Because it's still, after 34 years, not fitting this ideology, this fairy tale that, and I say this with all the love and respect, nobody has to fit in. People only have to show up in who they are.
Yeah.
And we only have to show up and facilitate that.
Yeah.
Or choose not to.
Yeah.
But we can't conform them to what we want them to be based on what we need.
Jesus.
Which is called codependency, for us to feel good. So if when you went home, mom conformed to this fairy tale, to your codependency, only then can be feel good in that space. When work and being healthy says, it don't matter what the space is. I control how I feel.
Okay.
I walk into my reality.
Okay.
And because I've accepted it, I've now learned how to make the best of it, how to bring the positive to it.
So is that a practice?
Oh, it's tools, it's work, it's practice. But first, it's you accepting what the reality of it is. Okay, my mom can't do mimosas with me. In your situation, it's not that she doesn't want to. She can. It's not, she can't. Mm-hmm. If you're telling me that there's things that incapacitate her from being able to, so, right, she can. And so, can I ask what the health issue is, or what?
I'm not ready to talk about that publicly. Like, I haven't talked about that. I've talked about it privately with friends, and I'm just now to the point where, like, I can share my mom's story off camera without bawling every time I talk about it. Like, previously, if you would ask me about my mom, I'd be like, why are we talking about that? Like, why would you ask me about my mom? Like, I don't talk to my, like, very defensive, very triggered, but like publicly, I'm not going to share that yet. Okay. That part of my story.
Can I ask if there's mental health illness involved?
Yes. It's mental and physical.
Got it. So what is the reality about her that pains you the most, that you're openly okay with talking about? What is that reality that when you think of it, you find yourself not wanting to think or talk or ponder or ruminate in that? Because that's the part that says, when I'm with my friends, I don't gotta feel this. So let me pivot over here. What is that truth? What is the chicken of that T-bone steak? What is it?
I don't really know, but I'm gonna try to talk it out. Maybe it's like, I know, like, when I hear her voice or I see her physical state, that triggers me. And I don't know if it's like, I'm getting angry.
At what? Yes, I'm getting angry at what? What are you mad about?
Gosh. That this is her condition because of the choices she made.
Mm-hmm. And as a result of that, this little girl has never been saved. And as a result of that, you didn't raise me. And as a result of that, I don't get a mommy-daughter relationship that I want. As a result of your choices.
Wow.
Now I have to create this false reality as a result of what you chose. So I deal with the residue that I had no seat at the table when the plan of action was being talked or planned about. Right. Nor did I execute this. And it's an internal struggle because you want to forgive her. You want to have compassion. You don't want to feel those ways because you understand, part of the adult you understands, you get what I'm saying, the depth of that situation.
It's literally a constant battle. I'd be like...
It's internal struggle.
Back and forth, back and forth. Just the way I feel and the way I show up doesn't align with what I know. I know.
Yep. Sit in that. Stay there.
This is so crazy. I know that one mistake cost her whole life. She suffered enough. I know that she's happy. She's fine. I know that for me to move on, I have to forgive her. I know that she loves me so much. I know that she regrets what she did. I know all of those things, but when I show up, the way I feel and the way I show up doesn't align with what I know.
Right. So say this. What I don't know is
what I don't know is what I don't know is I don't know. Help me.
That's it. Know. What do you not know? Or what do you know that you're covering up and protecting yourself and everyone else from?
I don't know.
That has you in bondage. Let's pivot to growing up with your dad and your stepmom.
Okay.
What was that like? Because that's going to tie us back into what I'm referring to with what you do know, and then what you don't know is the part that has you in agony and pain and in prison. Because if you understood it, you'd have the key to let yourself out of that. So we're going to penetrate that more.
Okay.
What was it like growing up with dad and stepmom?
And even that, it's so hard for me to talk about publicly. And I think the reason why I don't go into detail about my mom and detail about my upbringing so much is back to that, what we talked about, savior complex of me protecting everybody else in the midst of not telling my story, which I know I will get there one day. I'm just not there yet, which is so... It's so annoying because it's my journey. It's my story. It's my testimony. And I want to share it one day, but I tread so lightly.
Did dad protect you when you were young? Did he save you?
No.
Right. So you have a responsibility to protect and save people who didn't do that for you. I'm asking. I'm being condescending, but I'm asking.
No.
You do. Because you are being responsible for protecting them and saving them.
God. That's nuts to think about. That is absolutely nuts.
You said it. You said it.
That's nuts. Yeah. I'm still there, though. I'm not out of that yet.
I know. So protecting and saving them from what?
The truth.
Whose truth?
My truth.
their truth.
Their truth, just the truth.
And so them hearing the truth means what for you? Means what for them?
I think conflict. I don't want to have conflict. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want anybody to be mad at me for telling my story. I don't want...
you don't want them to just like all of a sudden decide to not save you anymore, not protect you anymore. They haven't been doing it anyways.
Right. Wow.
So what is the payoff of protecting them at the expense of your healing journey?
Right. Right.
What's the payoff?
There isn't like...
So what are you saving? What are you holding on to?
Lord. So then how do I get there? Like, how do I get to that point? How do I...
We talked about this in session. You feel the fear and you do it anyways. What if I said to you, you'll never be ready? So even the day that you decide, it's still going to be a day you're not ready.
Yep.
It's just the day that you say, I'm going to feel the fear and I'm just going to jump.
Yep.
And I'm going to trust that when I jump, there's dolphins and not sharks.
Yep.
And I'm going to trust that if there are sharks, God has equipped me to swim with them too. So I'm jumping. There's so many things, B, that we are just never going to be ready for.
Yeah.
That we have to make a decision, an executive decision that says, ready or not, here I come.
Yeah.
And you breaking that secrecy, generational dysfunction and curse could be the key to take everyone out of prison.
So much healing.
Because you can't heal a false narrative. So your truth, which gives them their truth, sets everyone free.
Wow.
And so what if God put you in the position with a platform, with a following, with a celebrity status, to say, I'm giving you all of this because
I already know that
you got to be the one that sets the truth straight.
I know that.
So then you prayed us in, which means you believe in God. The Bible says it's better to be obedient than sacrifice.
Yep.
How much you think you're sacrificing now for not being obedient to your truth?
For sure. I know that.
And you're still willing to sacrifice it.
I know. I am.
I know.
Which is nuts.
I know. Right?
This is nuts. Which is nuts.
So
wow.
you sacrifice relationships.
Yep.
Friendships. Plurally, people.
Because it's still happening now at 34. Something that I did or dealt with, not did, but dealt with in my childhood, I'm still dealing with at 34.
Because you can't get past, I have to protect everyone, which means I'm keeping everyone in prison and allowing them to be in their own prison cubby. And I'm going to walk by and give them a tray of food here and there to keep them in there. When I'm the only one who can set this straight. So how much longer? How much more time, right, are you willing to do? Because you're doing time. And at what point do you get out of survival mode and start thriving?
What's a mindset of survival mode, though? Like, just...
I'm codependent because I need things to be this way for me to feel okay in it.
Got it.
I'm surviving if the environment isn't conducive to what my emotions need.
Okay.
I need to make sure I don't tell my truth because that bleeds on other people's truth.
Wow.
And if they respond or react a certain way, I'm dependent on them staying the way they have been in our false narrative.
For me to be comfortable.
For me to be comfortable.
Wow.
Because I'm a people pleaser. So their comfort brings me comfort.
Wow.
My truth creates chaos.
Wow.
Their discomfort's going to disturb me. Which means I, b.simone, don't trust myself to be uncomfortable. At the expense of that discomfort being the biggest piece to my healing. And everyone else's, because no one person heals alone.
For sure.
So you're just a reflection. You're just a mirror for everyone. And so for you, you're okay with making sure you keep the smoky mirrors up. Because keeping it up for them means you get to keep it up for you. That's your payoff. But that's that little girl in you saying, I live the reality, adult b.simone, if you tell that I'm a break again.
Wow.
And you haven't released her and thanked her and said, listen, we grown now.
For sure.
I got this. I got this.
For sure.
You can't break with me at 35.
Okay.
Like, I got you. So you can be a little girl now. You could be a kid now. You don't have to come in and protect me anymore. Because she is going, excuse my language, fuck up stuff in your adulthood, as she already has.
She already has.
Because adulthood has no place for a kid. Kids don't have insight. They sabotage. They save people, which is an illusion.
Because you're not.
You can't save anybody but yourself. Right? So that little girl keeps showing up in ways that reminds you to create this false narrative and fairy tale so she can survive. The adult in you is like, little girl, we need to heal. That's an internal struggle. It's time. I've elevated. I got to catch up to where I am, where I'm going.
Where I got to go.
I got to go.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, but you're not going to protect us? And you have to be able to take leadership and be the adult in this little girl-adult relationship.
Okay.
Where she no longer runs the show.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
She runs the show.
Runs the show.
She shows up.
12-year-old.
Running.
Nuts.
Everything.
This is nuts. This is
Running
absolutely.
everything.
She's on retainer. Take all my money. This is nuts.
Right.
Nuts. 12-year-old.
Yeah. How much of this does your dad know? As far as how you feel? I know he knows the backstory of mom. Does anyone know you want to tell this story, and how do they feel about it? Have you had that conversation?
No. I've never had that conversation. Because I've never gotten to the point where I was even going to do it. So I'm just like, I just ignored it. But now the more I heal and the more, you know, like when I tell it, it's definitely going to be a testimony and show like, because I know God has called me to share this story. It's crazy. It's deep. It's nuts. When I was telling you, I was like, when I said it, I was like, this is wild.
You kept going, this is crazy. This is crazy. You were telling it like it just happened.
Wow.
But that shows how it's still intensely affecting you.
Okay.
You didn't even tell it like 20, 30 years ago. You relived it, B. Like you were the 5, the 6, the 7, the 12-year-old little girl telling me this story in disbelief that this is your story.
That it happened.
But that's how much you've blocked it out. It's still, It's not even foreign to you. It's not 25 years old. It's like a couple months ago.
Wow.
So you're reliving that over and over again.
Okay.
I think you asked, how can you start? What are some of the starting points? I think having a conversation with your dad, with your family, with mom, if possible, saying, look, it's time. I'm at a crossroads with my healing and with God. I'm on my Moses journey.
Yep.
I'm at the Red Sea. God finna part it. And I want to walk. And when Moses got to the Red Sea, you know, the Red Sea is vicious. You can't swim that thing.
Yep.
He parted the entire Red Sea for Moses. Hold on dry land. Dry land. That means that when you trot your little tail across that Red Sea, B, ain't no footprints because the land is dry.
Yeah.
He closes it back up. So you can't go back. Otherwise, you demise. You can't swim back. But also, your past that was trying to come across with you, which is the Philistines trying to get Moses, can't get across either.
Gone.
But more than that, because it was dry land, you ain't got no residue on your feet once you cross over. That's what healing does. That's what healing does. You are out of prison.
Yeah.
But when you get to the Red Sea, it ain't you that is sitting there having to ask God where and why. God said, I parted it. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I feel you are on your healing journey. You have to see God parted, and he's going, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Having a conversation saying, I'm ready to tell my story, my truth, which involves y'all.
Amen.
But I do respect y'all, and I do love you. So I want to ask you, are you not okay with it? Because you're not asking for permission, but are you all ready for me to tell this story?
Yeah.
And do you want to talk about it and process it before I
Yeah.
do? So that you allow them to be a part of the journey. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not you being codependent. That's you being interdependent.
When you share
and you're
that,
going to feel guilty.
I know.
You're gonna feel
I know.
bad.
I feel guilty now, and I haven't even done it. I feel guilty having this conversation.
Yeah.
I'm like, edit that out, edit that out, edit that out. It's like, we didn't even say, I'm still tiptoeing around my story, but you inspired me so much when you told me yours.
Y'all know I'm always adding y'all into the inside scoop. Y'all know I'm super healthy. I do not play about my diet. I've been vegetarian for years. I drink my green juices. I'm super, super healthy. So I want to tell y'all about something super special. Element, you guys. Don't forget the basics. Stay hydrated. And I'm not talking about those sugary sports drinks that y'all be drinking. I'm talking about real hydration with Element. Element is zero sugar electrolyte drink mix that's made to keep you feeling your best without all the extra junk, y'all. If you've been feeling sluggish, headaches, cramps, or that midday brain fog, chances are you need to balance your electrolytes, okay? Element is packed with them. It's perfect whether you're fasting, whether you're on keto, or you just need to level up your hydration game. And did I mention pro athletes and Navy SEAL teams are using Element, you guys? Even everyday go-getters like you and me can add it into our daily routine, okay? And right now, you can try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll give you your money back. Head over to drinkelement.com/LTTA and grab your free sample pack with any purchase. Plus, check out brand new Element Sparkling, a bold 16-ounce can of sparkling electrolytes for that extra refreshing kick. Don't sleep on this, y'all. I told you first, get hydrated, stay salty, and keep winning. That's drinkelement.com/LTTA for your free sample pack. Don't say I never put you on to nothing, okay? Back to the show.
I know this is the therapy session
That's okay. No,
that I wanted to have on
book.
camera, but I want you to share that a little bit about that, because it was, wow. And you hear, I go to these events or these classes and you hear people's story, and it's like, I never think like, wow, I can't believe they're telling that about their mom. Wow, I can't believe they're telling that about their dad. Wow, I'm just like, this is so inspiring.
100%.
I'm not thinking like they're talking mess about their family. I'm not thinking they're mean. I'm thinking they're telling a testimony, and it's inspired me. So I'm like, why can't you see that same way for your story? Well, once again, I know why now, as of yesterday, after our call, but the protection mode. Like 100%. I never hear other people's traumatic stories and be like, I cannot believe they're telling the story about their abuser. I cannot believe.
But I had to come to the Red Sea of my Moses journey.
Yeah. And I want you to share that.
Yeah. And I had to remind myself that, hey, look, you made it here, and nobody, as far as the two people who's supposed to row, at least my mom, you weren't protected. You weren't saved. Mm-hmm. Baby, you saved yourself.
Yep.
You saved yourself.
Yep.
And with that wasn't resentment, but it was, and now it's time for me to continue to go next level in saving myself. And it was the hardest decision, B, but I had to say, if I have to be as selfish as they were with not saving me and not protecting me in order for me to continue and really be healed and get past this, then that's just what I'm going to have to choose. Meaning I'm going to have to make the same choice they made right now. Mm-hmm. And I came to my mom, like I was telling you to go to your family, and I said, Mom, and my mom had been addicted to the same drug my dad sold, crack cocaine, for about 30 years or so. And I said, Ma, listen, I'm ready to tell my story. And obviously you are the biggest part of my fabric. How do you want me to tell it? Because I don't want to tell it in a way that makes you look any way you don't want to look. Mm-hmm. I won't use the word crack, cocaine. I won't even use drugs. Well, how do you want me to? She said, baby, listen, whatever way you got to tell it so that your healing takes place. Wow. That's the way you tell it. Wow. Who am I to tell you not to tell a story that's going to heal you? Wow. And I'm going to be in the rooms while you do it. And I'm going to be there to support you while you do it. And I was like, okay.
Did you expect that answer from her?
I did because of the kind of mother I have.
Okay.
My mom is her kids come first. My mom is whatever you need. I'll take one for the team. I'll take two for the team. Her response is, if I had to take being an addict for 35 years or 300 years for my kids not to be, I'll do it again.
Wow.
And I'll do it again.
Wow.
For my babies not to do it. So when I first told the story, I remember telling it because she was in the room and being like, okay, even while I was telling, I'm like, okay, you know, she was addicted. And I'm like, do I go into the crack cocaine part? How do I say this? And so
like treading lightly.
And she just gave me that look, like, and her eyes full of tears. And I look over and she has that look like, you tell it how you need to tell it. And I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I just went into it. And then after I told everyone, my mom, you know, was addicted to the drug my dad sold. And they had me at 15 and 16. And I had to bear crawl and figure this thing out called life on my own. And, you know, I put on my track shoes. It wasn't what I was running to, but it was what I was running from that got me here. And I'm still going to keep these track shoes on. I'm still running. And I said, I want everyone to meet my mother, who's the VP of my company,
wow.
who has her own company now, who is the VP of my Dr. Bryant Foundation. I said, Kim Ortega, and she stood up. They didn't know she was in the room. And she stood up, and everybody, I'm not exact, she's in tears. Everybody's in tears. They turned, and they stood up and applaud
wow.
her. And I just sat there and let her get her flowers. And after that, I said, Ma, you know, how do you feel? She goes, baby, you did that. Thank you. She goes, people were walking up to me and they were telling me, that's my story. And I have a thing, when I keynote speak, I say, if you can relate to anything I'm saying, say talk doc. When I start talking about mom on drugs, everybody in there said, talk doc. Whether they were a child who had experience with a parent who was an addict or a parent who had did it.
Wow.
And it just caused healing for everybody. And from that allowed, me and my mother have always been close, but it gave us an intimacy that we never had, that we thought we had. And her giving me that okay to heal, even though I was going to do it anyways, but I wanted her blessings, but I was going to do it anyways because I knew I had to.
Yeah.
And I knew I was willing to feel the guilt and feel the pain of whatever came with it.
Yeah.
And I remember my father saying, baby, like, how do you think your mom felt about that? And I said, Daddy, she's cool with whatever I got to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so
how did he feel about it?
My dad was a little more in the guilt space where you are now. Always wanting to protect my mom.
Yeah.
And make sure that she didn't have to feel her pain.
Yeah.
At the expense of me telling her story.
Yeah.
And that's really what you're protecting your family from, is them feeling the pain of their reality. And it's because you know what that pain feels like. Mm-hmm. And you look at it like you would be projecting that onto them, which is your people-pleasing illusion. Well, you can't project onto them what they already created. That's their stuff. And so you telling your truth just makes them look in the mirror at who they really are. That is the first steps to healing. So to know that you have the key, which is the power to do that.
Jesus. Okay, don't put the pressure.
It's a big responsibility.
God.
You know? And so I'm just excited for when you do it.
I got to do another thing. And it's like God call somebody else. I got a sister.
Stop calling me, right?
Jeez. Can anybody else do it?
Right? I want to ask, with whatever happened with mom, and I know we're not going there.
Yeah.
But with whatever happened, have you had that conversation with your dad as far as how did that affect him?
So I talked about this publicly. I wrote my dad a letter. Like, I'm 34. My birthday was in April. My birthday was April 5th. That was my 34th birthday. And before my birthday, I was like, I am not going into another birthday without telling my dad, without expressing to my dad my experience growing up.
Wow.
We never had that conversation. It just kind of like
didn't talk about stuff, brushed stuff under the rug.
And your dad's a pastor.
He's
right?
a pastor.
Still.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a pastor in Columbus, Ohio. I kind of, my senior year, I was like, I don't want to live here anymore. And I left, and we just never talked about it again.
Wow.
It was just like, okay, cool. Like, if you leave, there's peace, and everybody could be happy, and da-da-da-da. But we just never discussed it. Like, I never expressed my experience in that house growing up with him, like, from my POV, you know? Right. So I wrote him a letter. I read the letter, and my dad is just the sweetest. Like, he was so open. He was so receptive. He was so, just created a safe space for me to express myself.
And you said he cried, huh?
I don't think I've ever seen my dad cry. Wow. And he was about to like, but he stopped. Wow. So I don't even know if a tear fell. Like, his eyes were watering, but like, he didn't like boo-hoo, or I don't think I've ever seen my dad cry. Right. So it was emotional. You know, I wrote a letter, and then, you know, he apologized.
What were some of the key things you said to him? What were some of the messages you really wanted him to receive from that letter?
Letting him know that I didn't just move on. Like, everything's not just okay. Like, okay, that happened 10 years ago, and and everything's fine now. You're an adult, you're good. Like, the things that happened in my childhood, I'm still dealing with today. Yeah. So I was like, if my dad passed away, or if I never had this conversation, or if I never opened up to him about my experience as a child, I would regret it so bad. Right. Just wanting him to know, whether it, like you said, being brave. I went into it like, it doesn't matter what his reaction is. I'm reading this letter and I'm saying it. Right. So that's the same concept with telling my story. Like, it doesn't matter the reaction, just I'm doing it for me. Right. I wanted to release and let him know, like, this affected me. This didn't make me feel good. I, went through this experience. Like, all of those things, I was so open, and I had never expressed it to him before.
Who divorced who? With mom and dad?
I don't know.
What was the cause of the divorce? I know, but can we talk about that openly?
No. See? No!
Not even that?
No.
Okay. Okay. I won't poke. I won't poke. No. Okay. So I know the cause.
Yes, you know the cause.
We're not going to talk about it. So has he ever expressed, whether it was that time that you were reading this letter to him, or ever, the effects on him for the reason they divorced?
See, no. He's never opened up about that.
Did he ever go get help for that?
Not that I know of. No. So it's like the brushing under the rug.
So he showed up every Sunday for church and preached every Wednesday for Bible study. He showed up, I'm sure, to do marriage counseling with folks, individual counseling. I mean, he's a pastor.
Wow.
That's what pastors do. At the pit of pastoring and doing what I do as a doctor, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We're changing lives.
Yeah.
He showed up to do all that and praise God and teach faith and teach principles, all while I'm sure he was questioning, God, where are you in this time?
Wow.
And having to do that, and then overnight become a single father with two beautiful little girls.
Wow.
And find a new woman and remarry.
Wow.
And process all that.
Wow. What he was going through.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
That is so much weight for a man to carry.
It's a lot.
So, Dad, really quick.
I love you, Daddy.
Listen, you ain't perfect, but I do want to say thank you, because that weight, burden you carried, and still got up and preached and changed lives and kept the faith. And some days I know you didn't have the faith, but you had to show up in faith. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, Daddy.
Because that is hard. That is challenging. But listen, you may have not hit all the spots, but you was hitting them and you aimed at them. So I want to say thank you, because that is admirable.
Yeah.
Especially from what he went through.
Yeah. And
that's a lot.
And even you just saying that, like, I'm going to look at you, Daddy, now, because you're probably watching this. You might not be, but I love you so much. So much. I thank you for every sacrifice you made for me and my sister. I thank you for raising us to the best of your ability to be the loving, beautiful,
brave, go-getter woman that I am today is because of you. I'm just like you. I'm just like you.
What brings up emotions in you when you say I'm just like you? What parts of being like him makes you emotional?
Because he's just so sweet and so nice. And sometimes, like, what I realized in my adult relationships, I didn't even know how much in bondage I was in until I got out of it. Like, you start to lose yourself. You go down this rabbit hole of people pleasing and losing your personality and your mind and your calmness. Like, now you're anxious, you're depressed. And then once I got out of it, I was like, certain friendships, certain relationships, walking away, letting go of friends and people. I'm like, I haven't whistled in 6 years. Like,
Right.
I am whistling at the airport. Like, I wasn't anxious. I was in bondage. I wasn't depressed. I was in a relationship that didn't allow me to be my full authentic self. And once I got out of it, I was like, this is what true joy feels like. This is what true peace feels like. This is what sleeping at night feels like.
Right.
So once I got out of it, I was like, wow, like I see why people stay, because they're like, oh, I'm happy. You don't even know.
Because they learn how to survive in the dysfunction.
You don't even know what you're missing.
That becomes their norm. That becomes their norm.
And it becomes okay. You have no idea what God has.
It becomes the bar for them. There is no other bar. That's the norm. This is what it is.
Wild.
And that's why, back to the Red Sea, when we get there, it's going to be God's will either way.
Either way.
And so if you stay there too long, just like if you stay in relationships too long, God gives you the opportunity to be obedient so you don't have to sacrifice.
Yes.
And then he comes in and will sacrifice
and
prune that in which does not belong there. That is which is not being fruitful and multiplying. So obviously, what I see being said in this space you're in with your healing journey is God saying, you living in your fairy tale is no longer serving you, baby.
It's not.
So if you're not going to be obedient, that's okay. But I will make sure that I start to make sacrificial sacrifices, which is a pruning mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
That's good because it pushes us to do what we're supposed to do in alignment with God's will.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it becomes most painful and most dark, because it got to go dark for us to ask for God to show us the light switch.
Yeah.
Lead us there. What does that look like? But remember, when you turn the lights on, you see everything. Most people stay in the darkness because they really don't want to see.
Wow.
They really don't want to see. Because the last time they seen, their heart was shattered.
Mm.
And so why would I want the lights back on again?
Yeah.
To experience that?
Leave them off.
Leave them off.
Wow.
So let's stay in the lights off dysfunction. Let's stay in the lights off people-pleasing relationships. Keep the lights off. I just won't whistle. Keep the lights off. I just won't have my happy.
Wow.
In fear of what I've already seen.
No.
But then God also says, call those things that you see as though they are what you'd have them to be. But how do you call anything that you're in the dark of? You can't see.
You can't see.
So being in the dark you're at a total disadvantage.
Yeah.
Because you can't call a thing what you want it to be if you don't see a thing.
Yeah.
If you're in these relationships where you see nothing, it's the norm.
Yeah.
It's about being able to sit in the truth with the lights on, take inventory of what's in the damn room and say this, that has to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if I got to feel a certain way for a while,
that's just what
fine.
It is.
Because one thing about feelings for sure, they fluctuate. They come and they go. They're not going to be there forever, good or bad. And feelings are what people fear the most. When if you stay in the dark, you still going to feel different things.
Right. You still going to feel it. It's like choose your hard. The dark is hard. Going into the light is hard.
But the light gives you a place where you can now have freedom. You can now create.
Have freedom.
Dark just gives you nothing.
Hamster wheel.
That's all you're doing.
Okay.
And then you gaslight everybody who's been trying to help you get to the light because you're asking, most time for us, for me, at least, is God, where you at? I've been praying. God said, but I've sent this person. I've sent Dr. Bryant to come help you put the light switch on, to help you tell the story when you're ready, of course. B, you're at the Red Sea. I parted it.
Yeah.
Take the walk.
Yeah.
Turn the light on.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you feel you were or you still are afraid of seeing? Because you still with the light off and you dim it. You try to dim it. But God's like, baby, there's no lukewarm.
Oh, okay.
You're either
I was about
hot
to
or
say,
cold.
it ain't even medium on?
You trying to do it. You're trying to do it. Yeah, you
not
dimming.
the switch, but you know the switch where you can do the mood?
You dimming.
Okay.
You dimming. You're like, peek. Ooh, and then when you get a peek, you're like, lights off.
You're right.
Close the door. Close the door.
Okay.
But what are those things you feel like you're afraid to see? You're afraid to face, that when the lights come all the way on. And what if you turn them on and you see nothing but everything you've always wanted to see?
For sure.
Because when I turn mine on, say with my mom or just in life, I seen everything I always wanted. I was like, God, I would have turned the lights on. He said, no, don't. God said, don't.
Yeah, because I've been told, yep.
Just sit in your light.
It's always like that, though, with every difficult thing I've ever done in my life. Walking away from relationships that I was scared to walk away from, friendships, moving. Every single time I turn the light on, it's like, I should have been did this because the reward is so great. The freedom is so great. The blessings that come after it is so great. So I know it's coming.
And let me ask you this. In what ways are you like mom?
That's a good question. And honestly, I need to learn her a lot more, be around her a lot more. She's very gentle, very kind, God-fearing, intercessor for sure. Like, I feel like I get a lot of my spiritual, even though my dad is a pastor, but like my mom is like, she been on me the last year about paying tithes. I said, Mama, okay, I paid the tithes. Okay, but very just like spiritual, so rooted in God. I feel like I get a lot of that from her. Like, and she's very stern too, like a little direct. And what I say, I'm like that in certain relationships.
Right.
Not in those.
Like with your sister.
Like with my sister or certain friends. Like Shekinah, my friend, was like, I was like, I don't know how to speak up for myself. She's like, girl, you tell me no all the time. I'm like, well, you've created a safe space for me to be that. So it's like with people that I feel like I have to people please, I just do it. But
because that space isn't safe.
It's not safe.
I was talking about that earlier with one of my managers, Shanta. I was saying that when you create a safe space for somebody, you get the good and the bad from them.
Yes.
And so you gotta take it as, wow, this person's safe enough with me for me to see all of them.
All of them.
That's a privilege.
That's it.
That's a privilege.
Good.
That's not something to look down upon.
Yeah.
Now you can come in and say, hey, when you're in the bad, can we set boundaries there? Because it triggers me a little bit.
Yeah.
You can be there, but can it look like this? Or give me better understanding of what that means so I don't personalize it.
Okay.
But safe spaces are where we can be all of who we are.
Okay.
We don't have to temperature check to see where we got to people please to codependently get you into this space so that now I'm safe. So I got to work you to be safe with you.
Wow.
And I was saying to her, she has this natural gift where people will be just safe with her. And sometimes it can come off as they're being taken advantage or being bitchy or rude, but you're allowing them their freedom. And that's actually beautiful that you allow that.
Yeah.
But can you facilitate it at that level with them?
Okay.
Right? And so with you, what are some of the things that you want to know about your mom? You said, I want to learn her more. What do you want to learn more? And I'm not going to say, what do you want? I want to ask this in session. I didn't get to. Have you had the conversation about her and her health issue? Yeah. What caused it?
We've talked about it.
Openly?
Yeah.
Have you asked her to tell you the story or why or what?
No, not that deep. No, I haven't gone that deep with it. I've talked to like my aunt about it. Like, tell me like what you remember. Tell me this, her sister.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't gone like the deepest, like asking every single question.
In building this intimate relationship based on the reality of what you can have, not your fairy tale mimosas and traveling the world.
Right.
What do you want that to look like? And what do you want to know about her that would give you that closeness, that feel, that mommy and daughter relationship? within the reality of her bandwidth.
Okay, within the reality. Wow. I'm like, everything I'm saying, thinking of it, I'm like, no. I mean, I think it starts with conversations, like just deep conversations, which I don't think she's ever opposed to. It's usually me. Like when I get too deep, I get emotional or I get triggered. Or
what's wrong with your emotions? You don't have a good relationship with them? You don't trust them? They just haven't served you.
Yeah.
But what's wrong with being emotional with a mom that you want to have an intimate relationship with?
Yeah. Just like every time I'm crying.
And?
Okay.
And?
Okay.
Look, she created this.
Okay.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
I'm saying, Mom, you created this.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's wrong with her sitting in what she created with you?
Okay. And just having those moments.
You created it.
I think I avoid it more than, sitting in it.
Because you're trying to protect her from what you believe she can't handle. But I want to say this, and I love you, but you got to dissipate that arrogance, that indirect subconscious arrogance of you thinking less of your mom, that she can't handle her baby coming to her with emotions, with the conversation.
Okay.
This woman's God-fearing.
Yep.
What can she not? She can't. She can handle a conversation. She can handle some emotions, and she can handle what she created. Another thing I want you to think of, and I know we got to wrap as far as time, but I want you to start to remind yourself that whatever somebody created, i.e., our parents, they have an obligation to sit in what they created. Okay, you go have a garden and plant all these weeds and allow rodents to come in here, and then you want to tell them, no, stay over there in the rose garden while I sit over here with rodents and weeds that you created. B, that's not fair. It's not fair to you. No, everybody gonna come over here with the rodents and the weeds, and we gonna sit in this thing together. And we gonna smell the dog shit and the possum poop. We gonna sit in this. Mosquitoes are here too.
Wow.
Do you see what you created? Sit in this with me for a minute.
Wow.
Let's have this conversation. Oh, you getting bit? I know.
Wow.
Mosquitoes, huh?
Right.
You hate the smell? I know. 34 years. 34 years. 34 years. Oh, the dog bit you? I forgot to tell you. The pit bull bites.
That's wild.
Sit in it with me though. Right? Oh, the snake. Oh, it got venom. Girl, you probably just die if it bites you. But sit in this with me. 34 years I've been here. 34 years. You gonna spend the weekend? How long you gonna stay, Ma? How long you gonna stay, Dad? How long can you stay with me in what you created? See, so what I admired most about my mother is still to this day, and she's sober, she's a powerhouse, she's killing it. But my mom, I haven't had to ask. She would jump in and will not leave me in my pain. She'll be in there bawling her eyes out, trying to figure it out. And she's like, I just got bit by the dog. The snake just bit me. I got venom. I'm having an allergic reaction.
I'm here with you though.
It's bears coming.
Yep.
You know, there's another possum. And she's not asking how long. She done bought all her stuff and unpacked it right there with me and said, well, baby, if we here.
Okay.
Get the shotgun. Okay. We got to kill the bear. Not saying that every parent would do that, but it doesn't mean because they won't that they're not responsible for you bringing them into the mess they created. Let them sit in their stuff because you're doing them a disservice when you don't.
Okay.
Sitting in that gives them a reality check. And then it allows them to actually heal. Okay. Because they can't heal in a rose bush that is a fairy tale. And rose bushes and those don't need healing. Okay. It's fake over there because it's perfect. Put them in the environment they created. It's theirs before you came. Yeah. So they're very familiar with it. And if you don't think that they don't sit in it by themselves at times, especially Dad, they do. And they create, like you did, an environment in their mind that helps them think that the dog didn't poop and that the bear is not there and that the pit bull didn't bite him.
Illusion.
So they patching. I'm okay. No, you're not. You got rabies. Go to the hospital.
Jesus.
Detox it. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So start to work on being more open about inviting people into their shit. That they are trying to create the fairy tale that it doesn't
exist. Yep.
Because it does.
Yep.
All of ours does.
Yep.
And then that helps you guys collectively start to put things in place. And an unintended garden attracts rodents and weeds anyway. So if you don't attend...
Either way. Okay.
The only way it gets better is to go in, take inventory, plow out, and redo.
Okay.
And it's not as hard as we believe it is. It's actually harder in that.
Yeah.
Like you just said.
Yeah.
Versus coming out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just have to take that leap of faith. And I told you, I'm here. I'm going to hold your hand through it. And then sometimes you're gonna be at the edge and you're going to feel me go. And then
I'm like, all right, don't push. Okay.
That's what you're gonna do.
I was going to jump.
There you go.
I was going to jump.
Yep.
Give me a second. I need some water.
And when I push you in the water, you're going to be like, life jacket, doc. I'm like, you got it. Kick, baby. Kick. I'm kicking. Keep kicking.
Oh, my gosh.
You
Okay,
got
when is our
this.
next session?
I know, right? But I first want to ask you, like I do in our sessions, like, how do you feel after this conversation? And what are you going to do different moving forward? What are you committing to doing differently moving forward?
I feel so proud of myself. Like, I know I'm not fully where I
will be,
know. I know I will be. I know I will be. Like, I already know. Like, I'm gonna get there. But I'm proud of myself because I'm so committed.
You are
to all of this. Like, I'm trying to take accountability. I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to get the tools. I'm not just okay with like this anymore, you know? And I honestly feel like I never was okay with this. That's why I moved from Atlanta to Dallas. That's why I chased my dream. That's why I'm always like trying to unpack and see, even though it's scary. I was talking about this with the therapist that I was telling you about. I had been going to therapy for a year, and like, I'm scared of what's going to happen if I stay opposed to what's going to happen if I go. So I always go. Whether it's with my mental health, whether it's with financial risk, whether it's with, like, I always go. So I know.
Can we change that?
Yeah.
To trusting if I stay or if I go, it becomes a choice and not fear-based?
Yeah. Trusting.
Yeah.
Trusting.
Like, God,
what happens.
Wherever you put me, God, I'm good.
Yes.
If you have me here, I'm good.
I'm good.
If we pivot, I'm good.
I'm good.
When I tell my story, I'm good.
Yes.
If I don't tell my story yet, I'm good.
Yeah.
Right? So you start to make decisions from your healthy place, which is called choice.
Okay.
Not from your dysfunction, which is fear.
Fear. Okay.
So I want you to be choosing where you're going.
Okay.
Because you want to be there.
Okay.
Not because fear is making you feel like I
have to make this decision.
Trauma needs.
Got it.
Healthiness wants. You always want to be in a place of want.
Okay.
Not in a place of need.
Okay.
You won't tell your story now because you need to protect your family. That is your trauma telling you, I wish you would. I wish you would. You're going to blow this whole thing. When you move out of that, you're going to tell the story because you want to.
And I want to heal. And I want to. Yeah.
Those are two different
things.
Parts of you, which are always going to be in you. We learn to manage our dysfunction. And we learn to thrive in our healing place. You'll never be able to survive in healing because healing is a thriving, it's a place. It's a thriving place you arrive to. But all of your fabric, like this blanket, depending on how you put the blanket on you, that's what will touch in your feel. You have to learn to identify, oh, I'm in my dysfunction. Hold on. Let me manage it and move it and choose from my healthy place.
That's a different level of awareness.
Different level of awareness. But you getting there. You definitely getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. This was so good.
This was nuts.
This was so good.
Whole episode gonna be 15 minutes. I'm just kidding. I loved this episode. It's so needed, and this is step one of me getting to that point. Like, I'm so proud of this. I'm so glad you were able to. Thank you. First 3 minutes. She be knowing what she's doing. Them psychiatrists, boy, I tell you. How does that make you feel?
That's good. We crazy ourselves. We've been through so much trauma. We're like, oh, I see that in me. I see that in me. I see that in me.
Right.
That's
wow.
the truth. Yeah.
I'm just so grateful for you. Our private session was just phenomenal. This was hopefully a episode, I know it is, that can touch somebody out there with, I always say my podcast is my virtual diary. Right. So every episode I'm healing and writing and releasing in hopes of somebody reading my diary and being able to relate and heal and go on their own journey. So,
and you're changing lives.
Yes.
And when she tells y'all
you're
this
like,
story,
this is nuts. It's nuts.
If it's not me sitting in here to facilitate it, I'm going to be in the room because, it is going to change lives. It is going to heal her.
It is.
And everyone who hears it. It is a beautiful, unique, and in her words, absolutely crazy story.
Crazy.
But it is like, wow. It's a wow factor.
It's a let's try this again story.
It is a I said that in session.
Literally.
Remember? Yeah.
Literally. A story of resilience and second chances, baby.
The epitome of it.
What?
The epitome of if God says no, then it is a hard no.
A hard no. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait for us to get to that point. And it's going to happen sooner than I probably think. So let me go fast. I got to go and drink some water for 10 days. I love you. I thank you. Thank you for this episode, you guys. Just good luck on your journey. Huh? Oh, we ain't gonna do that. Yeah.
Do you have questions?
Okay.
Do you want to run them? You can. You want to go?
No, I usually end with, "What would you like to try again?"
Oh, you want me to say it? I don't care. You don't have to. Okay.
No, I'm like, what?
Okay.
Oh, you can.
Right. That was good. Another session. Okay.
But yes, you guys, I'm gonna let her tell you guys where you can find all of her stuff. Please check her out, support her, and I'm sure there will be more conversations with us on this platform.
Yes.
So where can they find you?
So again, I'm Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. You can find me at drbryant.co. That's co, not .com. And on social media, it's _Dr. Bryant. You can Google me. I come up #1.
Yeah.
And I have my YouTube channel that gives tips and tools on just life and mental health and wellness and all that good stuff on how to change your life. But more importantly, how to maintain that change. So love yourself, and trust the process.
Oh, thank you. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Let's Try This Again podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast. Until next time, stay resilient and remember, I love you guys.